Assalamu alaikum. I am Jawad Ahmad. Today we are present in the next class of chapter number 4 with a new learning objective, that is law of diminishing marginal utility. We have already studied what is utility, its different types, and their interrelationship with each other. So, in this topic, it will be easy for us to study what is law of diminishing marginal utility. Its name also states that what is first thing that you have already learned is marginal utility. Utility or the marginal utility is the additional utility that is being obtained from the consumption of subsequent units of a product. So, what is law of diminishing? Diminishing means decreasing. Its name is saying that this law relates to the decrease in marginal utility with the consumption of subsequent units. In our previous classes, I've also explained you that the utility that is being obtained from subsequent will be less than the utility that is obtained from the very first unit consumed. So we can say that initial utility that is being obtained from the consumption of very first unit is always greater than the utility that is being obtained from subsequent units consumption. So, similarly, this law states that the same marginal utility, that is additional utility from the consumption of additional unit of a good, decreases with every with every successive means next unit consumed if other things remains the same, which is also called ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus. If other things remain the same, the marginal utility of a good decreases with every successive unit consumed. This law is known as law of diminishing marginal utility. There are some assumptions of this rule. First is ordinal measurement of utility is possible. We have already studied this. What is this theory? If you want to study this, I'm also placing an I icon on this video. So you can click on this and learn first what is ordinal measurement. So ordinal measurement states that utility can be measured in terms of numeric values. Second assumption is income of consumer is fixed, means there will be no change in the income of the consumer. It means that there will be no change in the purchasing power of consumer. He will continue to produce more and more units of a same good. Third assumption is consumer has a single want, means he expending all his income on a single product. Next one is consumer is rational and want to maximize his satisfaction due to from the consumption of a same product. Next one is consumer has perfect knowledge of utilities derived from goods. Means he have good knowledge of the entire market. He knows which goods can satisfy his want more, better, and in what terms. All units should be homogeneous. Homogeneous means same units. Size of all units should be standardized, means all units should have a same size. Consumption must be continuous without time breaks, means if you are drinking a bottle, you should continuously to drink it sip without having some breaks in it. Means consumer flavor or consumer taste should not be changed due to the change in the time intervals. Taste and fashion should remain the same. So these are the 9 assumptions of law of diminishing marginal utility. Under this law, we have studied that, for example, for example, if you are drinking a bottle, let's say Coca-Cola, first law applies that the utility from the very first sip is greater as compared to the subsequent or the next sips. So the utility of a very first unit is always greater than all subsequent sips. Means the power of first of first unit is always greater than the power of subsequent units. This law is known as law of diminishing marginal utility. The assumptions we have studied that there should be continuous consumption, there should not be a time breaks, all units should be same, and the user have perfect knowledge of the market. Now move towards a table. So this concept can be well understand keeping in mind all the assumptions and the definition that we have studied in this class. So the table or the schedule is here. Taking units first. Let's say first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and the sixth one. Then we are taking marginal utility. Marginal utility is always, as we have studied in the definition, that it is always decreases. So let's say it is 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then goes to negative, that is -1. Third is the total utility that we are going to obtain from the consumption of any good. Let's say at the start it is, it is 4, then it increased to 7, then moved to 9, 10, and when the utility is maximum, or when the margin utility is at zero level, total utility is at maximum point, let's say at 10. Then with the decrease in margin utility, it also decreases. Now make a pictorial diagram so we can understand this concept in a better way. The diagram will be all the units will be taken on x-axis, while total utility and marginal utility will be taken on y-axis. This is x-axis and this is y-axis. 0 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's say this 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we are plotting that marginal utility first. What is the marginal utility? 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, minus 1. Let's plot it first. At 1 it is 4, then it is 3, 2, 1, 0, minus 1. Make them join together. So this will be the marginal utility curve that is showing a downward relationship with the consumption of unit. As more as the units are being consumed, it decreases from this point to that. Now plot the total utility. Total utility is increasing when marginal utility is positive. Means indirectly we can say that subsequent units will have more utility, more total utility as compared to margin utility. Let's plot them. 4, 7, 9, 10, 10 and 9. So at first it is same 4, then 7, then 9, then 10, again 10 at 5 level, and at 6 level it is 9. So this curve will be made with a freehand. So it is total utility curve. Shows that total utility start increase, but the subsequent units at reaching at a certain point, it become sustain. Then after that sustained point, it start decreasing with a decrease in margin utility. So if the both points can be connected with each other, this is the point 5 at which marginal utility is 0, but the total utility is maximum, that is 10. So this will be the customer equilibrium point level at which marginal utility is 0 while the total utility is 10, or maximum. After that this point, utility will total utility will start decreasing. So this is the pictorial explanation of law of diminishing marginal utility, in which marginal utility decreases with the consumption of subsequent units. Similarly, total utility increase with the consumption of units, but at point this 5, it become maximum and then start decreasing. So this all law known as law of diminishing marginal utility. Let's move to their exceptions or the circumstances where this law is not practicable. Circumstances where this law will not be practicable. These will be the same that we have studied in the definition, that if all other factors remain the same. If these all factors or some of them changes, then this law will not be applied or will not be practically possible. So first is wealth. If we study the wealth, every human has a native need that he need more and more of wealth. So this law will not be applied on this wealth, because any subsequent money that the user has obtained, money, coins, and more coins, more and more dollars will satisfy the consumer more and more. So satisfaction of more and more wealth will be increased. So this law will not be applicable on the concept of wealth. Second is knowledge. Everyone need more and more knowledge. So more knowledge that is being obtained from reading more and more will have more and more total utility. Other is human hobbies. Sometimes we never think about marginal utility or total utility or a satisfaction level. Sometimes we do anything for our hobby purposes only. Means if a person has a hobby of collecting stamps, then he will not consider either the market stamp price is increasing or decreasing or remains the same. He will continue to collect them more and more as it is his hobby. So this law is not applied on hobbies. So these are the three circumstances under this law will not be applied. Let's meet in the next class, in which we are going to study what are the practical importance of law of diminishing marginal utility. Let's meet in the next class with this learning objective. If this class has added any value into your knowledge or he increased your knowledge, so kindly subscribe my channel, like my videos, and make and mention your comments in case of any queries. Let's meet in the next class with next learning concepts. Thank you for your time.